Well, I found another interesting article, and it's by the Daily Beast. It's called Kristi Noem Manages to Make Ron Desantis Look Less Awful, and it's by Michael Daly. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem received a flamethrower for Christmas from her staff in photos online showing her giddily incinerating a pile of trash. She has now attempted the political equivalent by sissing her mouthpiece, the perfectly named Ian Fury, on Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. It's a fight involving two people so loathsomely ambitious that you can only hope it ends with both of them losing. But Noem is so extreme that she somehow manages to make DeSantis look less terrible. It began when National Review reporter Nate Hochman reached out to Fury for a comment on a story he was writing on the transgender lobby's outsized influence in South Dakota. The story was timely because the state's biggest employer, Sanford Health, will be holding a gender identity summit in Sioux Falls on Friday to review the needs of transgender patients in healthcare. By Hochman's account, Fury responded with a lengthy statement rejecting any implication that Governor Noem is overly cozy with major lobbying groups that helped kill a long line of anti-gender ideology bills in the state. Fury then sent a second email resorting to deflection. Governor Noem was the only governor in America on national television defending the Dobbs decision. Fury wrote in an email to the reporter referring to the Supreme Court ruling that overturned Roe v. Wade. Where was Governor DeSantis, Fury asked, hiding behind a 15-week ban? Does he believe that 14-week-old babies don't have a right to live? It was a reference to the fact that this fall, DeSantis signed a law outlawing abortion after 15 weeks, but has not promised to further restrict the right to end pregnancy. Noem, on the other hand, has endorsed her state's near-total ban on abortion. She has gone beyond even her own conservative state legislator in supporting a ban on abortion after the first heartbeat is detected. The abortion issue is a rare silver of daylight between the two Republicans. Both are MAGA acolytes, strident culture warriors, and champions of parent choice, who oppose lockdowns and mask and vaccine mandates and other public health measures they characterize as un-American challenges to our God-given freedoms. But Fury, in his message to the journalist, managed to highlight the one area where DeSantis may be less reprehensible than Noem. Fury declined to comment, beyond referring the Daily Beast to a Twitter thread that says Hochman's long ago outed himself as someone with an unhealthy bias against Noem. Fury also accused Hochman on Twitter of carrying the water for Gov. DeSantis. But the Democratic National Committee was less reticent. As Florida Politics reported, it made hay with the spat in the message from its war room. The DNC noted that both DeSantis and Noem have designs on 2024. DeSantis likely is not worried about Noem hurting his chances of taking the presidency, and he did not respond to a request for comments about the spats. But Noem may be gambling that by torching DeSantis, she ups her chances of being chosen as Trump's running mates. Then they would both have plenty of opportunity to throw flames. Of course, if either one of them were to win, it's the rest of us that would get burned. So I thought this article was interesting, and now it's actually not going to let me read the rest of it for some reason, because it acknowledges that when it comes to policy, most of these Republicans that are, statewide office holders, whether it's a governor, senator, or, you're referring to Trump, really are not that different. Their positions on everything are pretty identical: anti-abortion, LGBT stuff. All the social stuff is pretty much the same. And this is one area where Noem went even further than DeSantis, because the 15-week ban is awful, right, if you're a pro-choice person. But Noem was talking about doing a almost total ban, talking about banning after the first heartbeat. So you see the extremism that's going even further and further. And it's like, I really detest that Roe v. Wade got overturned, even as someone that's not affected by it. So, but just from the standpoint of, there are so many different factors that cause a person to decide to want to give up having a kid. And sometimes they can't make the decision to want to get rid of it, after the first week or whenever the first heartbeat is detected. So to say, well, if the doctor detects a heartbeat in there, this thing that you know, again, different factors, maybe somebody made a mistake, maybe someone, just there's different stuff that happens. And we talked about how Noem is so extreme that she was trying to block a young girl from getting an abortion, and the child that was going to have it was forced into intercourse and could have died from giving birth. So, this is not. It's interesting that it's a woman who is like the most restrictive towards women's rights. Like that's really ironic. Like the man is kind of one is like, okay, 15 weeks. You got, what is that? You have 4 weeks every month, so that's about after roughly somewhere into the fourth week is where he thinks there should be a cutoff, right? And that's, again, I don't agree with it, but there's at least still some wiggle room. She wants to pretty much get it to where no matter what the conditions or circumstances are, you're gonna have this damn baby. So, it's crazy to me, but I like this article because it points to one area where, like, DeSantis's positions on a lot of stuff are pretty bad, but he's not as bad as Noem. I have to give him credit for that.